So, South Africa in a strong position, as we know, after day one. It was an interesting day of cricket because I would like to talk about the entire day of cricket and speak about what I think about the day's play, about the way we batted, etc. So, we will be covering everything on today's show, of course, everything that happened in the first test. I mean, the second test between South Africa and Bangladesh. Everything will be spoken about on this show, of course, as you know. So join us in the live chat. I would like to hear what you have to say. We also have available um, an opportunity for you guys to have your say on the show. So please go ahead and click on the link in the live chat so you can call in on the show and tell us what you think about this particular game. I would like to hear your comments. Also get involved in the live chat, etc. You know what you have to do. But first and foremost, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click that notification bell for all future videos as well. Smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell, do all of those things. But also become a fan and a subscriber of Cricket Fanatics Magazine Monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. You also have an opportunity to become a patron. Click on the link in the description. And all our updates, our reports about this game is available for you right away. So go ahead and go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all of those updates. Without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's content. Looking forward to talking to you guys today. See you on the other side. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show, your review show. I'm your host, Khalid. This is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. But today, specifically, we're going to be speaking about the second test between South Africa, day one, and obviously Bangladesh, day one of this test. South Africa were put into bat. They chose to bat first, after winning the toss. Dean Alga obviously coming with this ruthless mindset, and we obviously wanted to see that in the batting. And we did, towards an extent. Now, I'm not going to be as praising or I'm not going to be as complimentary when it comes to South Africa's batting. Now, there are some things that I want to mention that is bothering me, particularly the fact that we can't score hundreds. We're struggling to score hundreds and convert, especially in South Africa. I don't know when last we scored 100 in South Africa from one of our players. We've seen a lot of 50s and players getting close. But hitting that 100-run mark is a very important milestone for South Africa and their confidence. But then on the flip side, if you're scoring 4 50-run partnerships on a day of cricket, then you shouldn't really be that worried, should you? So it is something that we can speak about. It's something that we can get into and really discuss. I would like to hear what you guys have to say about it. But the wicket looked really good for batting. Now, there was talk before the game that there was going to be some grass on the wicket and they were going to shave it off. And obviously, they were going to create a track that was going to be easy for both batters, bowlers, seamers, whatever, spinners. Everybody was going to have a chance on this wicket. And it kind of looked like that. There was something in it for everybody. Now, yes, Bangladesh were missing some key players. Obviously, their seamer, Taskin, was not available today. And that did cost them a little bit because I think he would have really loved the movement that these bowlers were getting off the wicket. We saw a couple of deliveries swinging, etc. So it was very interesting. Thanks, Sean. I'm in a different setting today. That's why there's a different background. So you probably only see this now and again. I don't know how many times I'm going to be here to do a live show, but maybe a little bit more times in the future, but we'll see. So we've got Dean Alga 70. It was quite a quick 70 from him, actually. Uncharacteristically, we normally used to Dean Alga grinding away, scoring massive scores and spending hours at the crease. He had a strike rate of 78.65, which is a decent strike rate for an opener. And him and Sarel Ewe put on a decent partnership to start of the day. They at least made it to the 50-run mark, 52 in fact, before Sarel Ewe kind of threw his wicket away. There was no need for him to play at that shot. I was sitting there watching the game and I was like, that was a ball. And I heard the commentators also mention it. That was a ball that he could have left. And I feel that Sarel at the moment is trying to search for shots at the moment. He's playing a lot of shots and he's playing a very attacking style of cricket than that I've normally seen him play. Kind of, maybe I don't watch enough of the Dolphins. Maybe I'm making an assumption here that's not true. But generally speaking, we used to having this attacking and then anchor at the other end. So with regards to Aiden Markram and Dean Alga before, they used to have that type of chemistry. One used to score on the one end and one used to grit it out. I think they're trying to keep that synergy going, and maybe that's why they didn't go with a guy like Peter Malan, who I think was hard done by in this Test series. I thought perhaps even in New Zealand he could have been selected, but they've went with Cyril and they're trusting him. He scored 24, went out in a way that I wasn't really happy because he really chased the delivery. And then in came Keegan Peterson once again. Another Test 50, in 64, in fact, of 124 balls, 9 fours. There were some beautiful stroke plays that he played. There was one there was one square drive that he played that was just magnificent, and I really enjoyed watching him play those strokes. These cover drives, these straight drives, he looked on song. So unfortunate to come down the track, the ball hitting him on top of his pad and it hitting the wickets when they reviewed. It was a very unlucky way to get dismissed. I feel like he looked so settled. 100 was on the cards, maybe perhaps for him. It looked like he was settled. It looked like he understood the conditions. It looked like he understood his game. But to fall victim to a delivery like that was so unfortunate for him. And I did feel for him. And then we had Temba Bavuma. We're waiting for that elusive second century, which we haven't gotten. We're still waiting for. I mean, after his century against England, we're still waiting for another one. He's gotten so close so many times. 93 he got previously. Now he's got a 67 of 162 balls. Perhaps Temba needs to look at himself and think about changing his mentality when he gets over that half century mark. It seems like in this particular game, but specifically, he started slowing down after he got his half century. Now, there was also a stat shown for Keegan Peterson. They showed his strike rate before he got his half century and after he got his half century. So both of these players, I feel, if they want to convert and convert those 50s into hundreds, I think they need to keep the intensity going, keep the pressure on the opposition, keep on trying to play their game instead of going back into their shell to try and stay there in the middle. I think that's been kind of boggling them down a little bit because I think that Timba is over concentrating and sometimes he's losing his focus because after you get that half century after you've battled, sometimes he does it. He gets a half century in like 100 balls, and he's so mentally drained. By the time he hits that milestone, it's almost like he loses concentration and then goes out. So once again, 162 balls for 67. It was a lot of balls that he faced for that 67, and we really thought that he was going to take things forward. The new ball changed a lot in the game. We saw a trouble Temba specifically. That new ball was moving around a lot. It was moving off the seam. There was the wobbly seam that they were doing as well from the Bangladesh skills bowlers. I think the way the Bangladeshi bowlers pulled this game back to restrict South Africa to kind of to under 300 by the end of this day was a good end to this particular session, the last session. So we've got two new batters in the crease. We've got Kyle Verreynne struggling. You could say struggling to keep consistency. He's got 100 to his name, no 50s. And then you've got Vian Mulder, who is really, really, really struggling. And he's trying to find runs and he's looking for runs. So we're hoping that the pair can really do something. It wasn't a great start for Vian, 19 balls for zero. So it was a bit upsetting that he couldn't get off the mark at least. So that's something that we were hoping that could happen before the Dane. There were some good deliveries, you could say, that got certain players, but I want to see less of this fishing outside of, like, I don't want to see that as much in Test cricket. There's no need to score quickly like that or to put pressure on yourself to score when the ball is going to miss the stumps by so much. You might as well just leave it and just take the dot. Build your momentum, get your confidence up, get those singles, rotate the strike. Keegan Peterson and Temba Bavuma must be celebrated for the way they ran between the wickets. I thought they were excellent. One thing I want them to get out of the game, though, is that hesitation. Every single time Temba drops and runs, he sometimes, not every time, but sometimes you'll like stop, jerk, and then stop and then run. That's how run-ups happen. If you're going to commit to the run, commit to the run. I think that's if you're going to call it. Decide, guys, on who's going to call what. When the ball is in front, like the basics is, if the ball's in front of you, you call. Ultimately, so I would like to see a lot more running to put in the wickets and being more sure of the way you run between the wickets with intensity. That needs to be there too. So ultimately, I think decent performance, good score, but I do think that this is a good wicket to bat on. It is deteriorating, and I think it's going to get worse to bat on as the time goes by. I think it's going to become more spinners friendly. So let's wait and see, because I do think that Bangladesh are very talented. They've got a very talented batting lineup, and if this wicket stays like the way it is and it remains this good to bat on, then Bangladesh could really give us a proper competition over here, a proper match, and we need to win this match. Remember that the percentages are very important when it comes to the World Test Championship table. The win percentages are important. So getting that 100% win is very important for South Africa. It will boost them so much in the World Test Championship to get to that final. So it's very important that we can continue to grow. And I'm liking that. I'm seeing improvements from game to game. We are improving, we're getting better. This is also not necessarily, you could say, our best team, but they're coming to the party. We do have to see how they bowl when Bangladesh come up to bat, but let's see. So let's get into the some of the live chats. You guys, the link is pinned to the top if you want to call in and have your say and let me know what you have to say about this particular game. I would like to say I would like to hear what you guys have to say. We've got Brendan Shumba saying Rickelton, oh my, he looked really good. And I wanted him to continue with that intensity. He played with the right mentality, he played with the right intensity. He had the right intent throughout the game. I think there's a player in there that can really maybe perhaps even take Russ's position in that spot. I really think it's going to be, for me personally, I think if he can get a score in the second innings and it gets as far as that, which I think it will, I'm hoping that Ryan Rickelton can put on a decent total and get his first milestone for South Africa, because I think that will really boost his confidence and kind of push him into the position to be able to take that position on his own. Because I really think that we need to look at the future and give these youngsters an opportunity when they're performing. Give them a go. Let them have an extended run. You've given Ryan Nicholson an opportunity. Yes, it's because Rassi went to the IPL. But if he performs, he should keep his place. Unfortunately, you guys chose to go to the IPL, and that's unfortunately the case. Now, I know it's not your choice. It wasn't their choice 100% to go to the IPL. There was a lot of things involved, and CSA also obviously approved it for them to leave. But unfortunately, that's how the game works. If you've scored runs and you've done well in the position in times of difficulty, at least give them an extended run in the team. And Ryan Nicholson is one of the players that we can look towards as one of the players for the future. We've got Dishan Goban saying the top six looked good. If Kyle and Vian have a decent partnership, then it's job done. Why can't we ever reach 400 on SA soil, though? Look here, I was speaking to Zaire. I was actually at his house at the moment. We covered the game actually together in a way, um, both covering it for separate publications, and we had a conversation. And you know him from being on the channel before, but we spoke about it a little bit about how the conditions have changed so much in different positions. We knew that obviously Wanderers and Chuni used to be the seaming tracks, bounce and pace and all of these things, and now they're actually more conducive for spin in a way. The domestic season actually proved that compared to now, if you're looking at St. George's used to be a low, slow track, but did you see the bounce that these bowlers were getting on this track? Doesn't look like the same St. George's pitch that we had before. Durban over the years, Durban used to be apparently a very good seaming track in the past, like very, very long time ago. And as time went by, it became more of a sprinter-friendly wicket. So the wickets have changed in South Africa, and I think that makes it a lot more difficult to reach that 400-run mark. We've been struggling to hit that 300-run mark and go past 300 consistently. So we need to get that consistency going. Ryan Nicholson, what a player. Shot was not necessary. Yes, I agree. He got such a previously he got such a good shot around the corner. He did exactly the same shot and got away with it. So he tried it again to keep that intensity going and to keep the runs going. Unfortunately, he went out. And if you're a player like Ryan that plays an expansive game, that's one of the risks that you have to take. Okay, Bibik, what you have to say today? Good start from Isai. Good start by no batters. By a number of batters, sorry. Timba Bavuma's wicket gives some positivity to Bangladesh. They roared when they took that wicket. They were so chuffed, and it's good to see that energy. Hopefully, it does as a neutral, it does spread through the entire team. ODI, we now have a chunk of players putting their hands up before Dean. Yeah, let's not talk about the ODIs for now. Let's just keep it to the test. Rickerton again through his wicket. He looked so settled. Yes, and that's why he was upset walking off the field. You saw how upset he was coming off the field. Even though he's not necessarily a guy that shows necessarily exaggerated expressions on his face. He kind of his top half kind of stays still, and his bottom half kind of smiles, etc. He's quite a focused, stern guy, so you don't really he's not very necessarily expressive as some other guys, but you could see that he was peeved. 100% could see he was pissed at his performance today. Bibic, Ryan looked great. One bad shot cost him his wicket. This guy's going to have some good career. Natural stroke player. Love to see Ryan in white ball too. And particularly in that number 4-5 slot, I think that could be a slot that he could fill going forward because of his attacking nature. He really puts the pressure back on the opposition by scoring so freely. Even certain deliveries that are not looking like scoring options, he tends to get away. And how you win the battle when it comes against a fast bowler and a batter. You win your battles with them, and that's how you get your runs. Now there was a specific thing that Ashwell mentioned while we were watching and talking about those hundreds again because we're lacking hundreds. But Ashwell spoke a lot about if you spend 4 hours at the crease, you almost guarantee that you're going to get 100. So if they work and focus on the time spent at the crease rather than the runs on the board, it might help them take their mind off focusing on I need 5, 10, 20, 30 runs to get that century. If they focus on the time spent rather than the run scored, I think maybe that could be a mental shift that can help them get over that mark. Because then you're working in a different type of threshold. You're working not with a mental capacity. You are working with a mental strength, but you're also working physically, and you're also working on performance-wise on how you're feeling, endurance-wise. You're testing your endurance rather than only your mental hurdles that you're trying to overcome. So that could help you down the line. Because if you switch your focus rather to obviously getting over that hour mark, it's more about getting the fitness in and focusing on your fitness and getting over the line. Brendan saying, sorry, Rickerton is better player than Rassie. And I think so too. I think Ryan looks a lot more settled. Now, this is where you can see it. When you watch Ryan at the crease, he looks settled. He understands his game. He doesn't look like he's getting boggled down, or he doesn't look like he's being bamboozled by anybody. He looks in full control almost. That shot that he played was because he got himself out, not the other way around. I mean, it was close to not being out. I mean, it hit his glove just above his wrist. So I think if it hit higher up, he wouldn't have been out, So and it was an unfortunate dismissal as well for him as well. This top 5 for SA going to take us to the World Test Championship in 2023. I love the confidence there, Brendan. I love it. Need both of them. Rassie got brilliant temperament. Now, that's going to be the decision that Boucher and the selectors are going to make. When Aiden Markram comes back, when Rassie van der Dussen comes back, one of them, I feel, needs to be dropped. Unfortunately, that is the current situation for me personally. Yes, we have an issue there with Vian Mulder, but I think one of the squad members now currently can maybe replace him. Marco Janssen also possibly in the future when he comes back. But I think that one between Aiden and Rassie maybe needs to get dropped, particularly because our players like Rickerton and even Kyle Verreynne to an extent, he hasn't got an half century yet, but he's gotten a century and looked good in New Zealand, but he needs to get that consistency going. And I think the only way we can do that is by giving him more time in the middle. And he is our keeper. So it's important that we do give him the right time at the crease. We are playing England, though, next in the tests. So they're going to want to pick their best 11. I am a little bit concerned that there's nothing happening before that to get them into the swing of things. Particularly the guys who went to the IPL, they're only going to have T20 experience under their name, some ODIs in between, and they're not going to have long form of cricket under their belt. So they're not coming off momentum. They're coming in fresh against England, which is going to be a tough test in their own conditions. How ridiculous is it that people suddenly doubt Alga just because he said this is a men's environment? Of course, he didn't mean it in the way people, or let me say, ladies think he meant. They misinterpreted that sentence, and I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I heard it, I said, people are going to misinterpret what he tried to say. He was trying to explain that Bangladesh need to harden up, toughen up, and become men ultimately, and play this play the game because it's for men and not for boys. Ultimately, it's for senior people, players, and not for sissies or whatever the case may be. That's what he tried to explain. Not in that words exactly. He's used words like toughen up and harden and all of those type of things and dried. You need to dry your eyes sometimes in Test cricket. Like he used terms like that to basically impose his authority and also to explain the fact that Bangladesh is nowhere near the standard than what is expected of a test nation. Ultimately, is what he said in this particular video, which was on the channel as well. I did play it for you guys on yesterday's show as well, but it is on the channel. I uploaded the shorter version so you guys can see it. So yes, it was taken out of context, but I think that Dean Algan needs to be a little bit more careful what he says. He is the test captain of South Africa now, and he needs to be a little bit more careful of what he says as a test captain. Because being that guy for South Africa, obviously people are going to take his word and listen to what he has to say, and they're going to obviously put him on some sort of pedestal. So unfortunately, he's going to have to watch what he says sometimes and make sure that he is diplomatically correct when he says certain things. Rassi is good in white ball, yes. Brendan again saying Rassi's fine white ball player. I agree. Temba gradually seeing that number 4 spot. Good point, because that's where I thought he should bat. I suggested that when Dean Alga took over the captaincy, that and a lot of players retired, that Temba should take more responsibility, that our senior players should take more responsibility. And Temba's one of those players. I felt that if he bats number 3, number 4 for the Lions, why not bat number 3, number 4 for South Africa down the line? So now we've settled on number 3 with Keegan. I think number 4 is a good spot for Temba. He's looking good there. He's playing he looks more in his element and playing at his natural game in that position. So I'm happy with this current situation and how things are going and the talent that we are finding. Boucher and Alka should talk to Mulder in the speech. SA should score quickly 350 plus would be really good total. Very, very true, Bibik. 350 plus is always going to be a minimum requirement, I feel, for any test match. I think you should always aim for 350 plus. Unfortunately, South Africa in the past haven't always passed that mark, but this is a type of pitch I feel currently that is a score that's reachable. So I think that they should go ahead and try and get to that level. It's very important that we get runs on the board, especially on the day where the pitch was good. We will see tomorrow. I think that overnight, there was rain today. It will be overnight undercovers. It might affect the pitch a little bit, the moisture. So we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. Hopefully, Vian can get off the mark immediately, because being stuck on that 0 overnight is going to be bothering him. And I hope you just forget about it, Vian, if you're watching the show. I know you do sometimes. Just clear your mind, bro. Don't think about it. Clear your mind and just have a good, nice rest. It's very easy to say that. Try to visualize yourself getting off strike and getting that 50, and maybe visualization will come into fruition. I've always been a believer in vision and in visualizing success, because that's how you can achieve it if you believe it. So yeah, just close your eyes and clear your mind, bro. Get a good night's sleep, and we believe that you can do it. I mean, all the fans are backing you. We know your talent, so let's see if you can do it. I think we go with Lorenzo next. Let's go, Khalid. I don't want Sarel and Keegan to fall into the Temba trap when it comes to hundreds. I don't. We'll see. I think it's still early for that. Let's see what happens. Sarel, yeah. They are, like I said, Sarel and Keegan will learn and fine tune the game as they get more test experience. At the moment, they are playing this free flowing type of style of cricket because that's how they know how to play. And domestically, you've got a lot more options to attack in domestic cricket than you have in test cricket. You are facing obviously world class bowlers from both ends consistently, whereas in domestic cricket you're not. So there's a lot more strokes available and an offer to play. So, and also the pace different. Like the pace and intensity is different in domestic cricket to test cricket. So I think they will be fine tuning their games. They'll be tweaking slightly certain things. There's certain things that they can tweak. Maybe getting 1 or 2 shots out of um, their routine, and try to be more patient and eat the bad balls. But I think the only way they can do that is by playing more test cricket. And as they go along, I don't think they will fall into that trap. At least I'm hoping that they don't. But I get your concern. Keithan said Mulder's debut test century took 10 tests. We need Peter Malan. I mentioned it. I do feel a little bit hard done by. I think he I think he should feel a little bit hard done by not being in this test squad. I do think that he's put on the runs domestically, and when he was picked for SAA, that is a sign to me that he's next in line with regards to that picking order. Why else pick him for SAA then? Otherwise, it's just a waste. So I really thought that because he has a test caps under his name, shouldn't that hold more weight? I've always asked this question consistently on this channel. If a person's performing domestically and they've got test caps to their name, shouldn't they get the opportunity over someone else that doesn't have test experience? And that's just a thought. I think that's only fair, but the world's not fair, unfortunately. Dishan Govan saying, remember the days when Smith Jockaras Hash used to make it easy hundreds? Yes, remember when we had like 2 or 3 hundreds in a innings easily, sometimes even in a couple of our centuries in between. It used to be amazing to be able to see South Africa bat all day and 2 days straight. I think Rickleton has seemed good in this series, but who would he replace? Can Keegan open instead of Sarro to accommodate him in the future? No, I wouldn't want to see Keegan open. I think Rickerton should replace Rassi ultimately in the side, or Aiden, currently until Aiden gets his form back. And if Aiden gets dropped to try and get his form back, etc., then you can just move everybody up one, and Ryan Rickerton can slot in that number 5 position maybe, just ahead of Kyle Verreina. Ryan is a player to watch for the next years. Natural stroke player, brilliant after Quinny retirement. I didn't notice this, guys. I can't believe I'm so dumb to translate for you guys that are not talking South African Cape Town slang. But I think it's a bit. I was a bit dumb that I didn't notice before that Ryan Rickerton's action and the way he bats is very similar to Quinny de Kock. So, like, that was pointed out to me, and I didn't realize that actually in the previous test they showed a side by side apparently of the two to show how similar it actually is. So I didn't know that, and it's pretty interesting to know that. But he is aggressive, and I love that about him. Miller was savaged. I didn't actually watch any of the IPL, guys, so don't even ask me about that. I was just focusing on tests. Langeveld and Ontong have been in the coaching setup for many years now. Do you think it's time to fresh for a fresh way of moving forward? Get AD and John T in there. That could be a very good option, but I think they're going to cost a lot of money, those two. Especially John T coming from the IPL and other teams around the world. He's a very respectable coach currently, and I think that he will be a lot of money. I was even considering, what about a Pakistani bowling coach? Yes, they had Werner Philander there recently, but like, what about a Pakistan bowling coach that can show us some swing and stuff? Because the way those Pakistan bowlers have been bowling over the years has been excellent. Like, they are ridiculously good. It could be a good idea to maybe bring in a foreign coach like that. But yeah, Alan Donald, another good option. Seems like he's working magic with regards to the Bangladeshis. So yeah, I can see that he has been before in the mix. He hasn't necessarily been maybe getting results as a coach with the Knights. But as a bowling coach, it's a whole different story where you can just focus on the bowling. Number 5 is right position for Ryan. I agree. It wasn't Miller times, is Munir. Lorenzo, yes, please. Under Alga, we haven't lost a test series since beating the West Indies. So the criticism he gets is laughable. Twitter can sometimes be crazy. Twitter's insane, bro. Like, that's why I try to stay off it as much as possible, because it's so crazy. Certain things that people say, like, it's just so far-fetched. Like, I'm like, sometimes I scratch my head and I'm like, wow, you had the balls to actually come on a public platform and say the things that you're saying. That's weird. And sometimes they expose their ignorance as well a lot on Twitter, because they can say things and then in a moment things change around, and yeah, they get proven wrong so many times. So unfortunately, that's pretty crap. But yeah, Dean Alga, I think he's adding a nice ethos into this team. Aggression, ruthlessness. He's performing from the front. I've been impressed with Dean Alga. Maybe his captaincy, field placements, all of those type of things, bowling changes, all of that stuff, you'll maybe get better and better at. That can still improve. But ultimately, I like his attitude. He wants to play this ruthless brand of cricket that is no mercy. I like that. I like a team to play with aggression and passion. It's everybody wants their team to leave 100% on the field. Who doesn't? So I think that's what Dean expects. And what I like about him is that he has high expectations and standards of how he wants South Africa to play cricket. And I think by enforcing that, it's to create the environment that can grow and really push us to that number one ranking again. He wants us to be back there again. And if that's his intention, why not follow him? 370 will be a good first innings total in this weekend. Yeah, I think 370 would be. Of course, anything other 350 over 350 will be decent total. But I do think that this pitch is going to change over the couple of days. Let's see if we even have a result, eh? Because I mean, today wasn't necessarily forecasted. A couple of days ago, when we spoke about the forecast and the weather, we weren't really speaking about Friday. We were speaking more about Sunday. So if Sunday and Monday are still going to be rainy days, etc., and overcast conditions, all of those type of things, could be in for a proper test match that might not even either being a proper test match is going to really be close to go to the wire, or we're going to have some days missing and we're not going to have a complete test match here. And that's going to be unfortunate for South Africa if it gets rained out, because we need that win percentage to stay there in that number two, maybe even try and go to number one on that World Test Championship rankings. I think Aiden can also get in the middle order. His game is more suited to the middle order, and he's a run getter. He can counter attack in that position along with Rickleton. Sure, imagine that. Rickleton and Aiden, middle order, left right combination, smacking balls all around the park. It's going to be interesting to see that day. One day, maybe Aiden can get his form back quickly and come back into the test side so we can see that. Let Russia only focus on the limited of it. I agree. Let Russia win us a World Cup. He's capable of it, T20 or ODI. Let Russia focus on that entirely. Why still go with him? If we have a player ready and we have a player that can grow and learn, the quicker he learns, the better for us. Because then we can start planning for the next test championship again, even aim at winning this one. And in the process of going for this title, we could be really mentoring a new player in the position and teaching him everything that he needs to know, getting him into the flow of things and making him get to that standard that is necessary for test cricket. Also, you'll be building partnerships with people that he's going to be batting for a very long time. Cal Verreynne is one of them. Keegan Peterson, another one. You'll be building partnerships and learning about these players and what they expect in the middle. And that will help them also increase their game, running between the wickets, finding boundaries, etc., etc., etc. Okay, Dex, if everyone keeps falling like this, will Aiden get the opening spot again? Probably. I think Bacho will look for a reason to get Aiden back into that team when he's available and ready, when he's ready, because that's a talented boy. That Aiden Markram should have been the future of South African cricket, and I think that pressure is really is coming to haunt him a little bit, because I think that's everybody's expectations of him. He's currently struggling. Like I said in the previous videos, I'll rather see someone struggle um, in one way than in multiple ways. Like, for example, we've seen Cal Verreynne lose his wicket on multiple occasions in a similar way. That shows that there's a problem that can be diagnosed. It has already been diagnosed and that can be solved. If you look at Aiden Markram gets out in almost every way possible. Pushing down offside to the wide delivery, trying to cut the ball, nicking it off, missing the ball completely, getting bowled middle stump, getting bowled length off, getting LBW trapped, getting caught. Like, he's gone out in almost every way possible, and consistently. So it's difficult for him to diagnose what the issue is. Whereas with Cal Verreynne, it's a lot easier. Please smash the like button, guys. Really enjoying talking to you guys, but smash that like button. Get this thing into all recommended feeds. Vian, we back you, mate. I really want you to do good tomorrow. We all back you guys. We all back him. Give Dwayne a shot in test over Vian. I don't think maybe investing in Dwayne in test cricket is the right decision. We've got enough young all-rounders available coming through the system that I think should be given opportunities. When did South Africa batsmen score a century in test? It's a big concern in test matches for South Africa, particularly in South Africa, yes. Particularly in South Africa. I don't know when last we scored a century in South Africa. It's been quite some time now. The one thing our batters need to do is not get too complacent when getting comfortable. That's exactly it's like he's speaking my language over here. When getting comfortable, and that's the reason I think we can't score hundreds consistently of late. Lack of concentration, I think. You know what it is? What I think it is. I think once they hit that milestone, the first milestone, playing their natural game, if they go into a mode where they overthink things and they're like, oh, wait, I need to slow myself down here. And they slow themselves down a little bit too much. And that as a result, they change the way what has been working for them up until that point to try and be more conservative and to protect their wicket a little bit more. And by doing that, you're changing the entire way you're playing. That you that and you don't know that game plan is going to work from then onwards. So why not just stick to what works and continue it through? I rather want to see that happen. Since Quinton de Kock centuries in the West Indies, South African batsmen have got to 50 19 times. Only two have converted to hundreds in the same game in New Zealand. My word, I didn't know that stat. Actually, I need to take a picture of that stat so that I can send it around. That's an incredible stat, guys. Wow. 19 times and not one there's been only two have been converted. That's insane. But on the flip side, if we can continuously score 50s in our top four, it's good. It's good, eh? In my opinion. The rest is have to come to the party, I guess. But those centuries will help a lot. Waka Yunus is still part of coaching, so there's an option. Prediction for the test series. I think that South Africa will win the game and will win the series ultimately if they can continuously keep this intensity going. They put pressure on Bangladesh, they need to keep it on. Tomorrow's so important. That first session, so important for South Africa. Let's see some of the latest comments that you guys had to say over here. Sorry. SA should try to get Vern. He knows most of the bowlers. Everyone respects Vern. No need to talk about his bowling skill and sense. Wasim Akram or Wakam might be a costlier option for CSA. But I think Vern will be a costly option too. I don't think he's going to lay back and not take what he thinks he's worth. Remember, he also coached in Pakistan, so he has a certain number that would convince him. Alga brings that grit and determination to the current crop of players. The no nonsense type of character is just what we need right now. It's exactly what we need right now. With youngsters coming into the team and a transitional phase coming through, we need someone to lead us with that aggression and with that no nonsense approach, because they need to stay focused. Because we need to be focused in every game. That's the only way we're going to win. We have to be at our best. South Africa can't coast through games. We don't have the luxury of being able to just coast through games and still get wins. Everybody needs to put on a performance and perform right now, especially with these guys also trying to find their feet. A lot of guys trying to find their feet in Test cricket. Pratik saying he would not drop Rassie for Rickleton in the short term. Rassie has shown some great temperament to score tough runs in bowling-friendly conditions, which were equivalent to a century. Interesting. Same was said for Babavuma for many years, but people didn't agree with that. Peter should be ahead, says Munir. Khalid, in your opinion, who is the current crop of fringe players in the Test and ODI arena? Can we do a show on this, Lorenzo, instead of me answering it here? I think it would be good after the series to do a show on this, because obviously our home season will be done. It will be a great time to have a show dedicated to this alone, and we can go on for an hour talking about it. If Sarel struggled, let Peter Malan get in. Oops, this thing is slowing down a bit. If Sarel struggled, let Peter Malan get in. Aiden should earn his place. This is another episode. Don't steal all my episodes, Lorenzo. You know what? Direct message me, DM me on Twitter. Let me know the different things that you want me to ask, and we can turn them all into shows. Ultimately, because that's a great show as well. There's many options available, I think, at least. Hardy, what's a good inning score for this pitch? 350, I think, is a decent score on this pitch. This pitch looks like it's a good batting wicket, but 350 minimum is decent. But I think they should push as much as possible, get as many runs on the board as possible. the only way we're going to survive here. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. You can also help us keep the lights on and also maybe get a studio down the line by becoming a Patreon. The link is on the screen as well as the description. It's literally just buy me a cup of coffee, guys. If that's a lot of money for you, then I don't know. But go ahead and become a patron today. We have 10 patrons currently. We're looking to hit that 20 mark. If we hit that 20 patron mark, you guys will be getting exclusive shows from me and the team directly to you guys only, patrons only. Nobody on the channel will be able to watch it except you guys. So get involved with the Patreon account. You get extra shows on different days, maybe one show, 2 shows a day. You'll be able to have this show with everybody else and then a private show too. So go ahead and become a patron today. We're also doing reports and color pieces as well. We have a journalist that is in PE Kabeja currently. Ungama is there. They'll be doing pieces that are more color orientated, more about his experience being there as a journalist, covering his first test. Actually, it's his first test that he's actually covering alone. So it's a good experience for him as well, but he's going to write more color pieces. I'll be doing reports. We'll be switching it around between me, Abad, Dicha, etc. And we'll be doing reports. So keep an eye on the cricketfanaticsmag.com for all reports and updates about the test series that is happening currently and all other news in South African cricket too. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care. Enjoy your evening. And yeah, enjoy your weekend too. We'll see you again Sunday evening with another podcast show. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the day. Cheers.